Are you including red meat in your pet's diet? Are you aware of the benefits red meat can provide as opposed to white meat? Do you know what meats are even considered red? Let's go over red meats and why they should take up a good bulk of your pet's meal. In nutritional science, any meat that's high in the protein myoglobin is considered red. Because of the myoglobin content, these meats are visibly more red than what's considered a white meat. This includes beef, goat, mutton, venison, horse, and hare. Pork is also considered a red meat, even though some cuts are considered white by culinary definition, as meats are usually defined by appearance rather than the nutrients that it holds. Birds are considered white by culinary definition as well. However, game birds like goose, duck, and pheasant are arguably considered red because of their higher myoglobin content. Myoglobin's job is to store oxygen in muscle cells, which extracts the energy needed for constant activity. Game birds spend their time flying, so naturally they will have more myoglobin in their wings, breast, and legs. This is precisely why chicken and turkey have darker meat on their thighs. Since they use their legs frequently, the meat is slightly higher in myoglobin. Since poultry is considered a white meat, the meat with more myoglobin content is just referred to as dark meat. Rabbit is usually considered red meat. However, conventionally raised rabbits that are homed in huts will naturally have less myoglobin, so these are technically a white meat. Wild rabbits, on the other hand, expend much more use of their muscles, so their meat will appear much more red. Now that we know what makes meat red, why is it important? There are two main components that set it apart from white meat. The first one being fat. White meat tends to be a lot leaner than red meats, but of course this can depend on the cut. For carnivores like dogs, cats, and ferrets, raw fat is their body's main source of energy, so don't be afraid of feeding cuts with fat attached. The second component that makes red meats important in the raw diet is the nutrient content. Red meats are high in iron, zinc, selenium, taurine, and B vitamins. These are all nutrients that are essential for carnivores, so they need to be included in the diet daily. Grass-fed and finished ruminant animals tend to be higher in vitamins A and E, as well as fatty acids like CLA and omega-3s. Pork is unique with the nutrients that it provides as well, as it's particularly rich in thiamine, which is a nutrient that cats and ferrets require a higher amount of. A pasture-raised hog also contains a decent amount of vitamin D in their fat as well, which is a vitamin that tends to be lacking in the raw diet, as our pets aren't able to synthesize it from the sunlight like humans can. So, while red meats are exceptionally high in these vitamins and minerals, white meats are still beneficial to the raw diet and should still be included. White meat like chicken can be a good source of selenium, omega-6, vitamin B6, and niacin. Turkey is high in selenium, niacin, vitamin B6, and decently high in choline. Turkey also contains the amino acid tryptophan, which can help regulate appetite, sleep, and mood. White meats are also generally lean and a good protein to start out with when transitioning your pet to raw. Pasture-raised poultry that are fed a natural diet of plants, insects, and seeds will also be higher in omega-3s as well. So, white meats can still provide some of these nutrients, but just in smaller quantities. They're still a great addition to the raw diet and shouldn't be cut out. But for cats and ferrets that have a higher requirement for many of these nutrients, a large bulk of their meal should be red meats. Variety is important in the raw diet because the more animal proteins and body parts that you provide to the meal, the easier it becomes to meet certain vitamin and mineral requirements. Of course, there will be cases where a pet is sensitive to hoofed animals or certain red meat proteins, so in this case, you should just do your best to either find a red meat protein that they'll do well on, or evaluate the nutrients your pet's meal will have with strictly white meats and supplement accordingly. If it's come to this and you need to add supplements to your pet's meals, watch this video to learn more.